Hi, this is Josh with step-by-step solutions to SAT quiz number 12. Again, we have 5 practice questions on a 10-minute quiz to get ready for your SAT exam. Question number 1 of the 5 questions reads, a little piggy went to market and bought some roast beef for a younger relative. The store clerk told little piggy that we have the best here at $12 per pound. The little piggy bought 2.5 pounds, which also included a 6% tax. What was the total cost of the premium roast beef? Well, according to the store cost, we have the roast beef times the cost per pound, but then we're going to multiply that to add an additional 6%. We have 2.5 pounds of beef times $12 per pound. We're going to multiply that by 100%, all that stuff, plus an additional 6%, which adds up to, in decimal, 1.06. That will add the tax on to the cost of the beef. Well, 2.5 times 12 is $30. And then just as a distribution shortcut, I'll do it 30 times the whole number 1 is $30. And 30 times the 6 cents, in decimal, so to speak, would be an extra 180 cents for that extra 6%. For a grand total of $31.80. And the correct answer was A. Question 2. The graph below displays the total cost C in dollars for renting a boat for 8 hours. Which of the following represents the relationship between H and C? The time axis is scaled by 1, but the cost axis is scaled by 5. Is it? Oh, the intervals, they're marked off every the units as shown here. Well, we have a linear equation, a straight line, and one way of representing them is y equals mx plus b, which is what I'll use because that's what the answer choices are written as y equals mx plus b form. Well, here we have the y-axis is C, or the total cost in dollars. M is the slope. The variable x, the independent variable, is time, is the letter H. And the y-intercept will be at point B. So analyzing this graph, the first thing we see here is that the graph starts at about 4, meaning that if we plug in 0 for hours, there's a $4 fee, to rent the boat, which means that you should get for $4, you should be provided with a boat that won't sink and that is clean and ready to ride out onto the lake for the customer. And then for the slope or rate per hour, what you need to do is, since it's a straight line, is try and pick a point that's near a lattice point. So we have the anchor point 0.4, but we also have a point 520, where it's very, very close to 520 on the graph. So what we can do is we can use those 2 points for a change in y and change in x. Well, here we have from 0 to 5 hours, that would be 5 hours renting the boat, and then it climbs up from 4 to about 20, so from 5 to 16. So that gives us a slope ratio of change in y over change in x, or 16 divided by 5, or about 3.2. Well, looking at the answer choices, we're looking for an equation that's C equals 3.2H plus 4. So we can eliminate A and D. Those are not written properly. A has the wrong y-intercept, and B has the variables in the wrong places. So it has to be B or C. Well, 9/4 is a slope of 2.25, and C is more accurate because that gives a slope of 3.25, which is very close to 3.2. Okay, again, this is a little bit tricky because that was an estimate based on the lattice points in the picture that were drawn there for those 2 points estimated as 0.4 and 520. The correct answer was choice C. Question 3, which of the following is an equivalent form of the equation of the graph shown in the XY plane above, for which the 0 values or roots can be found? So the 0 values are the x-intercepts. right? So remember, we give you the infinite and never-ending storyline, and these arcs can come and go if they have a relationship to that never-ending ground line. Here in this local picture, it looks like they're crossing at, let's see, x equals -3, 0, and x equals 5, 0. You can see them here in the picture. Can I use my pointer here? You can see here that if we have the line that's going from left to right, here, like our number line, we can see that this arc does have a relationship at -3. Then it goes off in its own path, and the arc returns here. This is a parabola for one more intersection at 5. Okay, so what we have to do is we can then say, okay, the symmetry line will be at x, it'll be at the midpoint at x equals 1. So as it turns out, we actually have two correct answers for the form for this equation. First one is y equals x plus 3 for the first 0. That's the first 0 product. And then x minus 5. So A is correct. But we also have the fact that if we plug in for x here, it looks like we are at about -15. It looks like, so -16 seems like it would be correct. Choice C is vertex form. Well, it turns out that since we wanted to have a version that by inspection tells us the location of the zeros, be very careful here. Choice A is the correct answer. We want factored form then. Choice C would give us that the vertex is precisely at 1, -16. But these are two equivalent ways of writing this, the equation for the parabola. This is the factored form, and that's the vertex form. But we want to find the zero values by reading the form. So we want choice A, which was needed by the writer here. Let's go on to question number 4. If 4x minus y equals 8, what's the value of 16 to the x power over 2 to the y power? Interesting problem. Looks like there's no solution. Like, how are we going to simplify this? However, we can use some properties of exponents to set up this equation. First thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite the base, 16 in the numerator, and just cleverly rewrite it so it's the same as the denominator, as a 2. Well, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, so we write it as 2 to the 4th power. Now we have 2 to the 4th power to the x, which is 2 to the 4x, and the denominator is 2 to the y. By the subtraction rule for quotient of exponents, we have 2 to the 4x minus y. But amazingly, that expression is given to us that whatever x and y are, they have the relationship that quadruple x minus y will always be the constant 8. So we can rewrite this algebraic expression, even though we don't know x and y, as it will always equal 8. Then looking at the answers again, there's no match. 2 to the 12th has to be wrong because it's 2 to the 8th. However, if we write out 8 2's and regroup them as 2 times 2 equals 4, 4 times, we can rewrite it as 4 to the 4th, and the correct answer is B. So, very interesting problem, whoever the writer was who wrote this one. I did not personally write this. As you can see here, several different exponent rules were used: rewriting the base, the quotient rule, a substitution step, and then lastly, rewriting the base again with a regrouping. So, very well written problem here for exponents. Last one, question number 5. A food truck sells salads for $6.50 each and soups for $2 each. The food truck's revenue from selling a total of 60 salads and soups in one day was $322.50. How many salads were sold that day? Well, what we do is we'll set up a system of equations based on the information given. The first fact that we're given is that they had 60 ticket items that were sold according to their food truck revenue. So A plus B equals 60 items. The second fact that we have is that based on these prices, salads are $6.5 and soups are $2. They earned $322.50 at the food truck that day. Not bad revenue for these food items. Well, let's see how we can use this system of equations, which was given in the paragraph, to solve for the exact number of salads. Well, what I did was I rewrote this equation number 2, which was the earnings equation, as the same. But I took equation number 1 and I multiplied it by -2 and wrote it down below as -2a minus 2b equals -120. The reason I did this was because now we can eliminate by addition. If we add column-wise, we have 6.5a minus 2a is 4.5a. The b's, or soup totals, cancel out. But we get that 322.5 minus 120 is $202.50. To make this easier, since we have 0.5 in both, I doubled both sides. So then we get the whole number 9a equals 405. And I can do this without a calculator. 9 goes into 44 times, with the remainder of 4, and 9 times 5 is 45, which means that 45 salads were sold on that day. Correct answer was 45. So I hope this review was useful to you as you prepare for your SAT exam, and thank you for watching my video.